The following video is rated PG for puzzling gameplay. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yesterday, some of our 14 players had reasons to bless Poochy, while others had reasons to blame Poochy. But now, 4 players will take the stage to become our first ever champion of Poochy. This is the Poochy Open. Hello puzzlers, this is your head tournament organizer, Cards of the Heart. Welcome back to the League of Puzzle Speedrunners Tetris Attack Speedrun Tournament 2025 Poochy Open. And yesterday, everyone was here. All the 14 players that had signed up for the previous 2 tournaments took to the stage to try and blame Poochy as much as they could. But now, it is Semifinals Sunday, and the final 4 players have arrived to try and take the title of the first ever Poochy Open champion. The faces that have made it to this point may be familiar to you, but we will see if they will be able to take each other out in V-Hard combat. We've got some great V-Hard matches for you today. Can't wait to get to them in just a little bit. But first, if you're tuning into the game for the first time, you're not exactly sure how everything works, allow me to take a couple minutes of your time to explain how this game works and how we are playing it in this tournament. Tetris Attack is a match 3 puzzle game released for the Super Nintendo in North America and Europe based on the Super Famicom game Paled Upon. It was also localized and broadcast through the Super Famicom's Satellaview add-on multiple times throughout its service. Both versions are playable in this tournament. Swapping up to 2 panels in your stack at a time, match at least 3 panels of the same color horizontally or vertically to make the panels disappear. Simply matching 3, however, will not be enough to win. You need to make combos and chains to not only stop your stack's gradual rising for a short time and prevent your stack from breaking through the top of your field, but also send garbage to your opponent to force their stack to the top of their field. Make combos by matching more than 3 panels at once. The amount of time they stop rising the stack is minimal, but so is the amount of time their garbage makes the opponent's field shake. Quick wins can be achieved if you stack combo garbage correctly. Make chains by linking sets of matches together. Make one set of panels disappear and then let the panels directly above them fall into another match. Their garbage makes the opponent's field shake more, but they stop the rising stack for much longer. Forcing your opponent's stack to the top is more consistent with larger chain garbage. To beat the CPU opponents, you must either make sure that they run out of time while their stack is topped out, send so much garbage that they can no longer make a move, or send garbage in a way to make them think they can no longer make a move. Due to how combo garbage is handled in this game, this is by far the least likely scenario. In Versus mode, the easy level has 10 stages, the normal level has 11, and the levels Hard and V-Hard, as we call it, have 12. In this tournament, players will be racing each other through all of those stages to defeat the final stage as fast as they can. The player who does that first wins the race. The player who wins a predetermined number of races first wins the match. Best of luck to all of our players. We've already had 14 players fight through the first 2 rounds of our single elimination tournament, and now we are down to our final 4, which means we are down to just V-Hard the rest of the way. The first 2 matches you will see today are in our semifinal round, which are best of 3 races, so the first to win 2 speedrun races of the hardest versus difficulty in the game will win those matches, and then the final match will be best of 5, so whoever wins 3 V-Hard races before the other person will become our inaugural Poochy Open champion. You can also look at our point structure for this particular tournament. Everyone has made it to the top 4, so because of our 14 players, they will be earning 3 points at a bare minimum towards their major tournament seeding, which we will revisit at the end of this live broadcast. The runner-up of the tournament will get 7 points, and our champion will get a nice healthy 13 points, which will go very far towards securing a high seed. even with the automatic top 8 seeding that the winner of the tournament will get. These players are also ultimately fighting for a piece of our crowd-funded prize pool. Thanks to some much generous support yesterday, the pool is now up to $190 out of our initial stretch goal of $500. If we hit that stretch goal, then the top 4 that would normally be paid out from the major tournament in March will be expanded to the top 8. And then if we hit another stretch goal of $1,000, we can not only pay out the entire top bracket, the top 16, but also the runner-up of the silver bracket. The consolation bracket will get a little bit something as well. Let's take a look now at our bracket and how we got to this point. We had some very hard-fought matchups in yesterday's show. Some matches did go down to the wire, but some of them were a lot closer than the 2-0 sweeps that would be suggested here. It was Corey BLD taking out Tetris Attacker in a run back, 2-0, getting his revenge from the previous tournament. GamerX459, a 13 seed, pulled off the upset of Yuki Saka yesterday, 2-1. Then it was 6, getting his own revenge on Skell, 2-0. Ty defeating Kanayo 2-1. The thebfin314 over Razorflame 2-0, and BB Forky over Alec Being Smart 2-0, leading to our quarterfinal round, which was more of the same. We had one 2-1 result. That was our 5th seed and Lakitu Open champion 6 getting the 2-1 victory over Gamer, but the others were somewhat decisive 2-0 victories, with myself taking out Corey BLD, FFR Pro dispatching Ty, and Beefin dealing with BB Forky. So now we have made it to the final 4. I will be taking on 6 in the second semifinal match of the day, but the first match we will see today is FFR Pro 21 versus the thebfin314 in our 2-3 matchup. And just to give a little bit of an idea of how our players have been playing VHard in these tournaments, I have compiled some numbers, some online facts as it were, about how VHard has been played by our 4 finalists. As far as my own VHard races go, I've been very up and very down. Some races over 10 minutes, a couple of races under 8 minutes though, as FFR was unfortunately the victim of in last month's tournament. But my average VHard time comes out to an 8:58 over the 8 races that I have done, compared to 6's 8 VHard races that he has done in these tournaments, which mostly came in the Lakitu Open that he won. His average VHard time comes out to a 9:31. Meanwhile, in the bottom half, FFR Pro 21 has averaged about 9 minutes flat over his 5 VHard races in these tournaments, while Beefin has averaged 9:32 over his 10 races. So maybe the experience of running VHard so many times recently will give Beefin a bit of an experience advantage in this one, though there are a lot of grizzled veterans, that are basically veterans by this point. Beefin has been around the least, but certainly proven to be one of the most competitive in our field, one of our most consistent qualifying, and one of our most consistent placing too, which is why you see all 4 of these players within like the top 5 of our major tournament seeding. So these should be some very good matches. Let's not keep our players waiting any longer. FFR Pro 21 and the thebfin314 are ready to take the stage for their first semifinal matchup, and we will get to that matchup starting right now. Let's give some audio to FFR Pro for this first game. It is all VHard all the time. For the duration of this broadcast, we will see how these two fare with the most random versus level in the entire game, and I will let our players know that we are ready to proceed with Game 1. So as you can see, our players actually enter the level and then immediately quit to preload the V-Hard level when you start a new game. Because normally you have to enter a button combination in order to enter this secret hardest level. You have to actually select hard while holding L and up on your SNES controller to select this hardest level. So, for practical purposes, our players are allowed to preload the entered combination and start their runs as soon as they select hard on this screen, as they have done so. Beefin's stream is about 8 seconds behind FFR's, actually, so we'll keep that in mind as Game 1 in this best of 3 is underway. So V-Hard has a little bit of variability in what it takes to beat all these opponents. FFR Pro sending 9 lines of garbage to Lakitu and winning in 18 seconds. Meanwhile, it looked like Beefin's Lakitu needed 10 lines of garbage, and most of these stages you're going to be prepared to send 7 or 8 lines in like Lakitu's case, but probably not 10. So hard to believe that Beefin was truly prepared to send so much. And Bumpty there was certainly not prepared for what FFR Pro had sent him, and FFR is getting off to a fast start with an 18-12 set of 2 stages. Beefin getting a little bit of a lag chain there, and that's one of like the next level strategies to getting fast times in this level. There is a normal rhythm to making combos and chains that you can kind of speed up a little bit by making certain combos and making matches on different sides of your stack. There are quite a few fun ways to make combos and chains, and the lag chains will definitely speed up your speed runs a great deal. But right now, it is our number 2 seed that is going ham on these early stages. That first stage was a bit unfortunate in how many rows of garbage were needed, but some of these others were behaving a little bit better. Now Wiggler is going down to row 2 and is going into the second tier of panels to find some answers. So FFR Pro wasting a little bit of time there, not of his own accord. Like, you could send the right amount of garbage to these opponents every time, but if they have a match that will touch a piece of your garbage and clear a little bit of it, that transformation time will certainly add up over the course of a single stage. Beefin having his own trouble with Wiggler, not able to catch up, settling for a 31. And again, it was FFR Pro who's generally having the easier time of V-Hard runs in these open tournaments, mostly because it feels like FFR tries to be a little more aggressive than most. Fortunately, Beefin got a 7-line attack onto Froggy to win in 12 seconds. So he managed to catch up a lot in that stage. But FFR's cursor speed has very few peers in this community, so FFR likes to go for a lot and is successful with a lot of things. Unfortunately, being a victim of a very low blarg there, and is actually thebfin that will be taking the lead here on the halfway point of this first run. We'll generally be looking to get to the 5-minute mark after the next stage of this run as some sort of benchmark for how the run is doing. I don't think either of our players here will get to that point, so they can't be feeling too good about how their run is going so far. But you can kind of see, you can also kind of see Lungefish here getting down really low on both of our players. Lungefish has a tendency to go down to row 4 on a good day. other times, Lungefish send matches so much that they can't help but to need 8-9 lines of garbage to beat. Same goes for Raphael. Okay, FFR is finding a little bit of a lag chain there. Gets a 6 chain with 2 rows of combos, and I don't think Raph's getting out of this. No! So with that 14-second time, it will be FFR Pro entering the Cave of Wickedness at about 5:33, but it is thebfin that will be going in about a second ahead of him. So this run is very, very close. We've got a very close race here, puzzlers. And we are getting to the part of the run where now all of these opponents know how to make chains. So they are capable of wasting so much more time as a result. But they're also ultra aggressive in raising their stacks. So sometimes you can get away with sending less garbage. thebfin dealing with more and more garbage clears, allowing Hookbill to chain more and more. And FFR Pro escapes with a 29 Hookbill. thebfin settling for a 38, so that's putting FFR Pro back into the lead by about 8 seconds. But with how much these opponents chain, it is not over until the Fat Bowser sings. And we've definitely seen a fair amount of Bowsers in these tournaments go completely ham. And waste an inordinate amount of time, but FFR Pro laying the smackdown onto Plant with all of those extra combos, and will be getting the win in 23 seconds. Meanwhile, thebfin's Plant is chaining a little bit, and went up for the garbage clear, and also managed to start a little bit of a chain. Just more garbage clears. It's kind of the story of Tetris Attack in a nutshell. You're just trying to avoid the garbage clears. Oh my goodness. Kamek is going ham on FFR Pro with a 5 chain. FFR needs to be careful, because at some point you're going to have to survive the onslaught. And this might be a bigger problem for FFR than he realizes, because Kamek is continuing to chain, and FFR Pro is waiting for garbage to transform to counter. So FFR's Kamek is having a little bit of room to operate while FFR rebuilds his attack. thebfin has managed to get a sufficient amount of garbage down, and it is thebfin that will be heading into the final stage first. Oh, FFR Pro barely got cleared on with that combo, but Kamek will not have time for anything else. And it is time for the final stage. How will thebfin start this attack? We've got a 4 chain, couple combos. Bowser not starting a chain yet. Beefin doesn't have a big chain, though. So, Bowser will be continuing to go off. Bowser once again is deciding a V-hard race, a tale as old as time. Oh wait, what does Beef and Bowser have here? Nothing! The thebfin314 vanquishes Bowser in 45 seconds. And Beefin will be taking game 1 with a time of 9:23. And this is just the cave being cave. If you don't send enough garbage to some of these foes, you are going to lose a fair amount of time, and FFR Pro got caught in a very untenable situation where an initial attack was sent and Bowser sent a huge counter, and FFR Pro was only able to wait for garbage to transform in order to re-counter, and that put FFR behind the 8 ball so far on that Bowser stage. FFR Pro finishing with a 10-20 and definitely not pleased with that effort. This is a best of 3, and it is now a must-win for FFR Pro to stay in the tournament and get a chance to compete for that Poochy Open title. We will get this next game started very shortly. It felt like in Game 1 that Beefin was sending consistently larger garbage to his opponents. And there's some call to do that in the cave stages, though you mostly benefit more from doing that early on. It's kind of hard to say. It's kind of hard to say what the optimal chain garbage size is to send. You just have to hope that whatever attack you send is going to be enough. Whatever you can find is going to be enough. We shall see if FFR Pro can find the right garbage to stay alive in this match as we begin Game 2. Alright, FFR Pro has found a 5 chain onto this Lakitu. Has there been enough combos sent? No! Oh, needed 9 lines. Only got to 8, so that garbage clear is going to waste a little bit of time. Beefin found a much better Lakitu stage to cooperate with and is going to get off to an immediate 8-second start. It is still very early in this run, though. There was a 5 combo that Beefin could have had. There, they decided not to. Tried to get the drop out from a falling panel for an extra chain. Did not get it. Beefin just had a combo garbage suspended in the queue for a long time, but finally dropped it. Finally, all fell for a 19. Meanwhile, to not be outdone, FFR Pro managed to send combo garbage in a way that made Bumpty think they no longer had a move, which is something you only see in Pokemon Puzzle League. You don't see it in Tetris Attack because Tetris Attack doesn't orient combo garbage that way. In Pokemon Puzzle League, combo garbage gets arranged in the garbage queue based in part on whether you started your chain with a combo or not. Tetris Attack doesn't do that. In fact, sometimes Tetris Attack will just send combo garbage early rather than hold it in a queue. And I will admit, I do not fully understand to this day what makes the combo garbage drop early. I've not been able to get into the internals of that and figure that out. But Beefin's been able to take advantage of some great stages so far and has developed something close to a 20-second lead early on, which 20 seconds might as well be a full stage. Okay, Beefin did not get the combo, the chain that he wanted, so he tried to make up for it with combos. Did not quite get enough onto Froggy, but FFR Pro definitely has enough onto Froggy. And that will basically even the race right up. These swings in times will happen a lot throughout these races. V-Hard is definitely the most volatile level in all of Versus due to how fast the opponents are and how quickly in the endgame they are able to get to chains. Alright, that's a 21 for Beefin, a 19 for FFR Pro. So, FFR Pro, I believe, might actually still be behind by a couple of seconds. The opening stream delay makes that a little difficult to tell. But one thing that should be easy to tell is that these matches will be very close throughout. So if you'd like to support our players for the time that they are donating to make these tournaments happen, by all means, put any spare change you've got into our crowdfunded prize pool, which is at $190 out of our initial stretch goal of $500. The more we can get in that pool, the more people we can reward for their time in the major tournaments. So please spare whatever you can. Okay, FFR Pro sent 7 lines to Raphael the Raven, who usually needs 8. Very unfortunate there. FFR does not have the combos yet to get rid of the Raven. I think some accidental matches have held up the combo garbage for a good amount. But Beefin is having his own trouble with the Jerk Bird. And very fortunate that Raphael went for a combo to clear garbage in order to try and clear it, but ran out of time. So, despite what it may look like on screen, is actually Beefin with a 2-second lead heading into the cave. FFR's Hookbill barely getting to a garbage clear in time, but will not have time for anything else. And a 21-second time is definitely one that FFR will love to see here. Beefin's Hookbill is down to row 2. And Beefin is waiting for garbage to transform in order to send a bigger combo. So this might work out eventually. After our lag chain from the garbage, of course. These opponents do not know how to make chains off of transformed garbage, but that will not stop Hookbill from wasting time. That was huge. That was a much needed stage for FFR to see Beefin get, and now, just like that, the lead might get out of control with FFR's 22-second plant. as Beefin is just now entering the stage. Let's see if we can get an audio switch over. Get some aggressive stack raising, and then some comboing and chaining, like integrating combos in your chains, raising the stack very high to maximize your combo and chain potential. Those are tenets of a consistent, if not fast, runner. Like, not everyone can be our record holder and seemingly get all the required lines of garbage with the minimal amount of panels available. So most of our players will try to raise their stack very high while they are arranging the first match that they want to make. So here we go. Both players, well, FFR Pro at least, has a chance to finish this run in the low 8-minute range. If Bowser will cooperate, which Bowser did not in Game 1. But if Bowser does cooperate, we will have a deciding game right after this. And Bowser does cooperate enough. FFR Pro finishing with a resounding statement, 8 minutes, 12 seconds. What a bounce back from that Game 1, and FFR Pro will get to claim star number one. And some garbage clears left Beefin high and dry in this particular attempt, but that's just how things go sometimes. Sometimes random things outside of your control will dictate how these races go. Every player in our remaining field is capable of finishing runs in under 8 minutes, but also over 10 minutes. We're seeing the entire range right here, just in FFR Pro's times. And even the great ones will have a fair bit of struggle from time to time. We'll see if we can get a strong finish on this Bowser as well. Is this Bowser gentle? Bowser wasting a lot of panels, so maybe. Out of time! Beefin finishes Game 2 with a time of 10 minutes, 2 seconds. So FFR is reaching the higher highs, but Beefin is reaching the higher lows. So we shall see which trend will prevail in our deciding Game 3. As soon as our race tracking website, racetime.gg, will cooperate, I will be able to open the next race room. This has been quite the competitive set so far. Both players have had a good run by their standards, and both players have had a bad run by their standards. Which run will our players come to this run with? Our timers are counting down as we head into this deciding Game 3 in this first semifinal of the Poochy Open. Our 2-seed FFR Pro 21 coming off the heels of an 8-12 V hard time versus our 3-seed, the thebfin314, who won the first game by almost a minute in his own right. Now it is time for Tetris Attack to decide our player's fate. FFR Pro with a 6 chain to start. Gonna need some more combos to come down. That's going to be enough for an 18 still. Beefin gets a much more cooperative stage and is rewarded with a 14. And that's going to be part of the variance of these runs from stage to stage. Some of these stages will go down to 6 lines of garbage. Some of them will go down to 5 lines. Some of them to 8 lines, to 9 lines. It depends in part on how fast you're able to send your attacks, but these foes look for basic 3 matches as much as they can. So whatever matches they're able to make is going to be indicative of how much time they are going to waste. And Beefin's Poochy, Beefin's Bumpty even, wasted a bunch of time. I think FFR... Oh... FFR sent 7 lines when he needed 8. Again, that's just part of the variance. This is the unfortunate circumstance of the randomness of this game. The panels are randomly generated. There's a big long sequence of panels that the game will internally reference for deciding which panel to generate next. And it has to be able to generate them one at a time due to transforming garbage. Okay, FFR taking no chances here, going to a 5 chain on this attack with lots of combos. And Flying Wiggler continuing to be a menace to FFR Pro. Meanwhile, Beefin gets a nice attack with a good stage and will leave with a 13. So now FFR Pro has fallen behind by about 15 seconds. Game's got him throwing his hands up in the air. Alright, Beefin getting his attack and then finding a backup 8 combo immediately. If you're able to find matches that send 2 rows of garbage at a time, especially after already sending an attack to your opponents, you're going to get these foes in that down stacking mode that FFR's Froggy just showed off. And you will get them to eventually fall. Oh, Beefin, watch your head. Oh, it's kind of scary to let the stack creep up to the top without an exact plan, but these players are generally experienced enough with V-Hard to be able to avoid it, and FFR Pro really showing Blarg who's boss, maybe sending a message to his to our resident avatar Tetris attacker, possibly, with that 11 second stage 6. Now again, the average Lungefish and Raphael will require 8 lines of garbage from my experience. Oh, a little bit of a combo-induced shenaniganery. Oh no. Beefin did not have enough to follow up on Lungefish. Lungefish was just sitting there waiting for the stack to go up because of a low garbage block. Could not see any matches underneath that low garbage block. Just did nothing and Beefin did not quite have enough to finish the job. Meanwhile, FFR Pro trying to go off onto this Raphael, going up to a 6 chain. The larger garbage blocks makes the screen shake a lot, so you sacrifice that shake time for some assurance that the stage will end in a somewhat decent manner, and it looks like after some down stacking, okay, Raphael not willing to lay down just yet. Even getting a chain off of the transformed garbage, wasting a little bit of time. So that's a 36 for FFR, and it is 36 and counting for our 3 seed. FFR entering the cave at a little under 520. It's going to be about 5 seconds behind that will be Beefin. So it is still very close, puzzlers. This one will almost certainly come down to the wire. And what a start to the cave from FFR Pro. 14 seconds is not a time you reasonably expect from Hookbill. But it is a pleasant surprise to be sure. Oh, Beefin, I think, had some extra attacks going and held up his combo garbage. That may have led to Hookbill surviving a little bit longer than he should have. FFR Pro sending a little bit of a shorter attack to Piranha Plant, and Plant not getting to a chain extension in time. That will be another 14-second stage. FFR Pro is killing this cave section right now. Could lead to another sub 8-minute time in these tournaments if that keeps up. We didn't have any sub 8 VHard times in the tournaments until the 2 I got against FFR last month. But FFR is trying to get some himself. Beefin is done with Plant at 31 seconds. Meanwhile, Kamek is now able to get a chain off at X3, but FFR has crushed him with no options left. So after that 29-second stage, FFR Pro still has a chance to close out this match with a sub 8-minute time. But again, we have seen Bowser do many a thing to wreck our players' chances of a good run. And Kamek is doing some lag chaining on the Beefin, so perhaps FFR will have a little bit of time. Ooh, if FFR had been able to send 6 lines, that would have been enough. Some extra garbage is coming down, and no time! What a close to that run from our defending Pokemon Puzzle League champion. That time is 7:54. Unreal endgame from FFR Pro. Some garbage was sent in a masterfully done manner. And now Beefin, who's not on a bad run of his own, has to sit and wait for Bowser to make some more matches. Like, Bowser's fast enough, so like, whatever he can get to, he's gonna sit and wait. And there it is, waiting no more. Beefin finishes with his fastest VHard of the match with an 8:45, but it was not enough. FFR Pro 21 with 7:54 gets star number 2 and the win. What a game. What a match. Both players bringing their best at the very end. but one player's best was just a little bit better. Let's go ahead and make this result official. And with that 2-1 victory, FFR Pro will be moving on to our final match of the day. A best of 5 V-Hard affair against the winner of our next matchup. So let's take a look at the next matchup. And we can see FFR Pro will be awaiting the winner of the next match of the day, which is myself against 6. I have to worry about 6 because as the Lakitu Open champion, 6 had to slay FFR Pro in order to get to that title. And yeah, 6 is not going to be an easy out. I've mostly had good races against 6, but my V-Hards have been all over the place. So if we can see some good V-Hard runs from both of our players, then we will have a very exciting matchup coming for you right after this. So stay tuned. You are watching the League of Puzzle Speedrunners Tetris Attack Speedrun Tournament 2025 Poochy Open.